Hey Marcos, how you doing, mate?
Hey Jason, how's it going? Good, good.
All right, let's jump straight in. Why don't you let people know just like really roughly like how you ended up getting OP, how this all started for you?
Absolutely. So for me in my situation, OP started about I started noticing certain things going on in my body, right? Very uncomfortable. Uh it was things that I was not aware of, right? That I actually was, right? But I didn't know exactly how to go about it, signs of a prone hernia, a lot of pelvic lower back pain, trouble. Example, jump roping. I tried that activity one time and just my sins would give out. Like I didn't know. So basically, just a bunch of symptoms, right, that I was unaware of. I was like, what's going on, right? I was always perfectly healthy, always athletic, right? Always staying in sports, soccer, so on and so forth. And just one day, out of everything, just came down together all at once, crumbling to the point where I could not use my left leg, right? I could not use my left leg. Anytime that I try to move, it gave out. I was stuck in bed for about maybe a month, a straight month, right, of not being able to walk. And anytime that I try to get up or move, um, it fell. It maybe worked for like a few minutes and then just give out. So I tried reaching out to obviously medicals, right? X-rays, so on and so forth. They they said I had nothing. They said they did an X-ray, the blood work, hernia to see if I had a hernia because I had a small on my lower abdomen, right? So I was like, what's going on? So, and
And
then I ended up
how young were you at this point? Because like this is
at
like gnarly stuff to happen. And
absolutely no. I was literally maybe what I'm 22 right now, so this was whenever I was probably like 19, 19 or
no,
yeah, 19.
had to be even longer because that was 2021, remember? So like
Okay, that was 2021. We're in 2024. That's been about 3 years, right? 3 years.
yeah. So yeah, because your first session was like May 5th, 2021. So you must have had it ages before that. So 2020, you probably
Oh no, absolutely no. But no, absolutely. Like I believe I had it prior, maybe I who knows, maybe 5 up to 6 years, right? Like, and
yeah.
it was small stuff that I would notice, right? Like maybe on my abdomen, right? My belly button. I feel tension, right? Just in that area, but it'll go away, right? And obviously I'd like to do a lot of calisthenics, CrossFit type, right? So I would never warm up. I just go straight into it hardcore and just I really didn't know overloading my pelvic, I guess, now that I'm aware of how that can happen, right? Which was something that not breathing correctly. That was a big issue, right? So that was it. So I'm sure it started on way before, right? I'm sure I've had it for maybe years, right? 6+ years for sure.
So once you like found me, you started jumping in, you kind of decided to do the program and stuff. What was kind of the thing that you found like what did you find kind of different and what did you find kind of like what did you find that allowed you to try sort of figure out, oh, hey, like this is what's been missing, this is what I need to be working on because like again, you were pretty fit before all this stuff kind of happened. So yeah, like what for you was important that it kind of let you go, okay, cool, I'm on the right path. I got to like put the work in, but I'm on the right path kind of thing.
Correct. Okay. So one of the main things, obviously, watching your videos, your basically before jumping onto the program, right? I heard you and I was like, okay, this is a biomechanical movement, like you had stated. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, right? Because clearly it was showing through my training that I was not doing what I was supposed to do as far as training, warming up before maybe doing a body comp, right? Basically, what's going on, right? Aligning your body, right? Learning how gravity works towards you, right? So to get to the point was basically just even the first exercise, like literally one of the first exercises that you had taught me, right, was the bird dog, right? The bird dog exercise where you're planted, knees, all points on the floor, right? As soon as I started doing that, it was like my body felt it instantly. I felt differently. Like right off the bat, right? So I was like, okay, wow, like this was, I have nothing. Clearly I don't have a hernia because they tested for that right at one point, and I have a bulge right there. So I was like, okay, no hernia. Clearly has to be about my pelvic. My pelvic felt way better, just that center area, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, this is exactly what's going on. Like, I was stuck trying to figure out what was going on for about straight 6 months, right? 6 months. So
So
until I found you.
if I'm understanding, so you're talking about that first test I made you do, where you lifted the hand and
Yep.
so if you, yeah, so anyone watching this, if you decide to do like an initial assessment session, which is kind of like a shorter, cheaper one, just to figure out if this is like the right fit for you kind of things, I just get you to do these really basic tests that I'm almost like, I don't need to see them. Like I know, like literally like, so, you'd have done that test and even without me seeing the test, I would have been able to be like, yeah, cool. Your pelvis is going to move to the side. You're going to do this. Like I literally don't even need to see it kind of things. So anyway, I would have gotten Marcus to lift his hand up off the ground and I'm looking at his pelvic stability in that situation. Now, assuming like, some people can be really clever about it and they can cheat about how they do that. But assuming you just go into it and you just try to do it, you're not trying to cheat in any way. It's like, oh, the pelvis just shifts to the side immediately. And then if your OP is really sensitive, it'll hurt kind of immediately kind of things. And yeah, and so like sometimes it's weird in a way because like I don't want people to be in pain, but at the same time, it's like if you can get this immediate feedback, which is like, why the hell can't I just lift my hand off the ground? Like, what is going on? Sort of things. It's like that can help people connect quickly. And then if you remember, like stepping forward, so then one of the first exercises I would have gotten to do would have been a proper bird dog, right? Where you're on your hands and knees and you're connecting.
Exactly.
And like, if you remember, so when I get people like, so I'm sure anyone watching this, I'm sure you've done a bird dog before. I'm sure a video's given it to you, right? But there's doing it and there's really doing it. And I get really pedantic. I put the camera right on someone's backside and I'm like, cool, your pelvis shouldn't move a millimeter. And if you do it correctly, your oblique will engage, your pelvic floor will release, and then your leg will lift. And what will happen is that first test I got him to do, where Marcus would have felt pain with that hand lift, right? It's a big, dramatic, violent movement. Like you're on your hands and feet, you're heavy. That's why it can cause pain. In the bird dog, you're on your hands and knees. It's really delicate. It's going, hey, cool. Well, you could practice this 1,000 times and not hurt yourself because it's really light. There's no pressure on you. But you better damn well get it right because if you can't even lift your knee off the ground and not shift your pelvis, well, when you're walking, what chance do you have of keeping your pelvis stable, right? And it's like, oh, this is like attention to detail. Like you need to get that right. If your pelvic floor doesn't release, your sacroiliac joint can't function. If your sacroiliac joint can't function, you're now slamming your pelvis around when you're walking and moving. So it's got to be perfect from the beginning. And you might think you're doing a bird dog, you damn well aren't, kind of things, until you get the right activations. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely. No, that's well explained, especially to emphasize on what you said, the pain part was inevitable. Like it was there, right? It was there. And I was like, how you said it was simple. It's a simple exercise, but the way you execute it, right? And obviously trying to execute it correctly, there was so much pain. So
So then you're going through the program, you're starting to get better, things are starting to click for you, kind of things. Where did you at any point get to a like thing where you just started to get really annoyed or frustrated, like something wouldn't work, you just couldn't, something kept hurting you? Was there ever a point where you were just like, oh, I'm just really stuck and I'm really kind of like you really hit a roadblock kind of thing?
for me, it was actually the complete opposite, right? I actually dialed down on it, right? I went heavy on it. I was literally doing this almost any time that I was able to get, literally any point day and time. Obviously, I had my sessions, right? I had dedicated sessions. I was already into fitness, so I would always put in an hour plus, right? But more on top. But basically, no, it was every time that I did these exercises and more than anything, perform them correctly, how you state on through your program. It literally like pushed me to the next step of how to basically go about this and get better, right? It put me to the next, okay, what's next? And throughout every step, I felt my body like it was undeniable, right? Just as far as the pain, how I felt, and just overall, right? So it was a complete opposite for me. Like by what you were asking me, it was completely, it was good. It was really good.
Well, that is great to hear. So anyone watching this at the moment, that's very unlikely to happen. But I think the difference there being because, like, you're a personal trainer. I don't know if you're a personal trainer at the time, but you're a personal trainer
Correct.
now. but you're
Right.
coming from like, so Marcus is coming from a background of calisthenics and kind of like high, like, there's like, so yeah, you can do CrossFit, you can do gym work, and you become a decent mover, but like to be able to hold a handstand, pull off a front lever, do these really things, you have to have a good understanding from the body. So anyone watching this, what I'm gonna guess likely happened is more a thing of being like, oh, cool, I exposed you to a bunch of information, I helped you apply it in a session. But once you had that, you already had enough body intelligence to be like, oh, this is just missing. Let me just add this. And then that strength you already had was there. It was just that you were so, and the way I like to describe it to people is like, unless you're coming from OP because you've been pregnant, like, you were pregnant and it kind of stretched out your ligaments, that's a different type of client that like I'll talk about. But like if you're an athlete and you get OP, you don't get OP because you're weak, because your core is weak, because it's like, oh no, you get OP because you're almost like too good of an athlete in some ways, like things. And this applies even to amateur runners and stuff like that. It's like you're able to push your body beyond what your body can handle, kind of thing. So, for runners, example, like they get aerobically really fit, so they can run faster and faster, and they can run longer distances at faster speeds, but then their technique can't sustain that. So even though their lungs aren't getting tired, their body is getting damaged from every foot strike, and their pelvis is over. So the way I would interpret your thing, it was like, oh, you had the strength, the skill, and the coordination to hold these extreme positions in calisthenics, but you didn't have some of the stabilization patterns underneath to support it and keep it safer, to keep it safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so then it would make sense because almost like 90% of people will be like, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Oh my God, I'm doing so horribly right now. I hurt myself. My pubic bone's killing me. Whilst if you have enough skill, you could probably avoid that and just keep going up and up kind of thing.
And no, absolutely. No, they like yeah, make no mistake about it. There was pain like all the way throughout, right? But I was like, okay, by what Jason was explaining throughout his videos and stuff, I was like, okay, well, this is something that has to be, you know, we have to go through it, right? So,
That's such a hard thing for people too, or it's kind of like, because 99% of other injuries, right? You hurt yourself, it really hurts. You rest, it feels a little bit better. You start to do some rehab, it kind of hurts, but it gets better. Like you're not rehabbing through pain. Like it doesn't really, like if you overdo it, you might feel pain for a second, but you're not
right.
rehabbing. Whilst with this, like I'm always trying to encourage people, hey, if you feel pain, back off. But if you don't push to some degree, you're not going to get better. And in the process of pushing yourself, you're going to make a mistake and really hurt yourself. And it's like, oh, the hope is that, hey, if we made you go from here to here to here to here, well, then if you make a mistake, the drop is only from here to here. It's not you might hurt yourself, but you haven't damaged yourself, if that makes sense. But
Okay.
when you have a chronic injury, your pain perception is really like bad. Your body becomes more sensitive to pain. So it's really easy to be like, oh, I was doing fine yesterday. And then I did this one exercise and I made one mistake, or I didn't even know what the mistake was. And now I'm back in bed tomorrow. And and your brain's thought is like, well, you must be seriously injured because you're stuck in bed again. But it's like, nah, this is like because you've been in bed before. It's like your body's just going back into a bad pattern. It's bracing everything. It's creating all this pressure. And it's like, it's really hard to just be like, oh, hey, I just need to unwind my body. This is not physical damage. I haven't broken something. But 90% of the time, you feel pain, you rest, it feels better, you build your strength back, you go back. You don't have to interact with the pain so much. You kind of like,
Right.
whilst this injury, it's like, no, you do that, you'll lose 5 years of your life. Like it takes forever to heal. Like you've got to help it on its way with rehab, but you're going to make mistakes,
Absolutely.
right?
Whew. That last part was well said. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Because you can be feeling good one point and then boom, you
It's
know.
yeah, sucks. Okay, so then just like finishing up here, right? If you had any advice to people who are like going through what you went through, who are struggling with it, who are kind of like confused and stuff, like what enabled you to kind of like stay focused on your rehab and kind of like, push and keep like, put in the work, putting in more than an hour a day, like you're describing, to help you get better? Like what kind of tips would you give anyone that's kind of like in your situation, who was in your situation?
As far just going based off of my journey, right, and with this condition, I would really more than anything, like you said, right, dial it down, right. I think that's really the only way, in my personal opinion, to really get to know your body, right, more than anything. And obviously, like you said, it's different, right, for individuals, right. Some might be for pregnant woman, or some might be for athletic, right. But as far as in my situation, I'd say really dial down, focus, focus on your body, right? Well, your body speaks to you in a way, right? So I'd really listen to it and basically apply everything that obviously you're providing for us, right? Because it, like I said, it works, right? It works for me, and I'm sure that it works 100%. So
Let me
honestly, that
Let me just, yeah. So for anyone watching this, let me just like elaborate on that because everything you're saying is 100% correct. But it's sometimes like you'll say it in a way because you did it that it seems like, oh, it was easy when it's actually really hard.
right, no, yeah, absolutely.
What Mark's talking about is the idea of kind of going, all right, so there are exercises you have to do. You need to perform these exercises to change your body, right? But there's this middle bit in between, which is you. There's the exercise, there's your outcome, and there's you in the middle, right? So you can jump down and try to do that bird dog. And if you're not really connecting to feel what your pelvic floor is doing, feel what your breath is doing, it's like, oh, well, then you can do the exercise. You can do 100 of them and it won't mean anything. It won't do anything. It won't change anything because you're not changing actually how you're doing it. You're just performing a movement. And people are often coming from this situation where it's like, my core is weak. Therefore, if I do 100 planks, my core will be stronger. When it's actually more accurate would be, no, your core is inefficient. It doesn't work the right way. So if you do 100 planks the way you always do a plank, actually, no, you're going to be worse, not better, because you're just exacerbating the problem that got you here in the first place. So what Marcus is really describing is this thing of being like, okay, cool. He has a session. He watches a video of mine and stuff like that. He has a long history of also doing exercises, and I don't care who you are. You've used your body in different ways. And so what I'm guessing you're describing, and I might be paraphrasing here a bit too much, but it's kind of going, hey, I'm going to go and sit in this exercise. I'm going to do this workout. And I'm going to really try to figure out what the hell it is that I'm supposed to achieve from this. Like, what am I actually trying to change? What am I feeling? Is my foot connecting to the ground? Is my glute connecting? Does this feel good? Does this kind of feel wrong? And then kind of like, oh, cool. So this video and this person on the other side of the world is giving me this content, but it means like, pardon my French, it means shit until you can actually make it your own and it actually sort of connects to your body and makes sense. So what I think Marcus is describing there is basically this thing of being like, oh, if you can just get down to basics and just slow everything down and be like, hey, I know there's something wrong with me. I can feel this pain. And most people have a gut instinct that there's just something not right about the way they're moving and what they're doing. Hey, can I use these exercises and these movements as a way to figure out what that is, to interact with that and actually understand what I'm feeling? Because I feel this pain, but you're feeling bunches of other things. Things are blocked, things are jammed, things aren't moving right, but you don't really know what those things are because you're not paying enough attention to them. You're just feeling the pain. So it's like, oh, if you can feel those things, connect to them and change them, then you can take away the causes of your pain. Your pain will go away. And yeah, it's like, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, absolutely. No, that was well said, right? Like you said, that's basically saying, hey, take it step by step, really observe what you're going through and then go about it, right? So that was absolutely well said, Jason.
Awesome.
Really, that more than anything.
No, thank you so, so much for doing this, Marcos. And yeah, anyone watching this, like, hopefully you can take a log. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason, for letting me share this. I'm sure other people, they'll be able to get through it. It's a journey, but it's doable.
Yeah, absolutely.